What up,
Okay.
everybody? Welcome to the UniVersus Barrett UniVersus show. We started a little preamble, got a little whatever, but we're jumping in because I have somebody um, who can jump on right now. So
Okay.
my name's Tam. This is Barrett. This is the Tam and Barrett UniVersus Super Show.
That's true.
Um,
That's what we do. It's
uh,
what we do with you. We can't do
yeah,
this without you. Put your
and
questions in chat.
we the way it's a UniVersus college show. But we have somebody who is also playing Dungeons and Dragons at the same time, and so we're gonna jump. I'm gonna bring them into the chat right now, and then we're gonna get them on. We're gonna have their conversation, and then they're gonna leave and they're gonna go slay dragons and shit. So welcome to the stream, Pringles Man 123.
Oh, hell
Hello,
yeah.
how are you?
Hello, hello. What's the line I gotta say? Long time caller, first time listener.
That's
That's right.
That's it.
Yep.
And
You
not
nailed it,
backwards
dude.
whatsoever.
Nope, I got it exactly what I wanted.
All right, hit me with your question, buddy.
Yeah, so I think this is a good one because it's really topical almost all the time in UniVersus and any card game. And so I wanted to ask for you guys, what is it that makes a meta good? Because there's a lot of complaints about a meta being bad or whatever in every card game. And so I want to talk more about what makes it good.
I love that. Very positive spin on the age-old question of does games suck? That's great.
Yes, truly.
If game bad, why bad?
Yeah.
How made good?
So before we jump in and we give our answers, can we hear like your thought process on what makes a meta good? Like not necessarily like where it's coming from, because like that's
Show your
kind
work.
of self-explanatory, but
Yeah.
like what other explanations do you need besides it feels good?
Yeah, so obviously I've seen how it goes, so I have some homework for it. I will preface this where, for the most part, in my card gaming career, I haven't really cared that much. Like, if I like the game, I will play it. But to sort of make it a really simple framework for what I think makes a meta good is a meta is good if players have a large number of meaningful decision points, both in deck building and in gameplay. And it's really simple, but I think that means that a wide variety of things can be a good meta. So hypothetically, a meta where only one deck is playable because it's the best deck could still be a good meta if players have a lot of decision making, both in their deck building and in gameplay. And then same is true in kind of what we got going on right now. There's a bunch of decks.
Can I
And you have
push
a
back?
He
lot
really
of
did show his work. He
Can I
really
push
did
back?
show his work.
Yeah.
A one deck meta means that you don't have choices deck building.
So usually, yes, I would say that it's possible for a one deck meta to be good if you actually have choices. So an example would be, I don't know how true this is. Yeah, I don't know how true this is about Kirishima 1, but I know people played on each of its symbols. I don't know if that was actually a smart idea, but you could play Void Kirishima 1, Good Kirishima 1, Earth Kirishima 1, and you get different strengths.
I see it as I don't think we can have this conversation without talking about other card games. So I apologize to video watchers and people in chat, because I think the more you understand like outside ideas, but I think the idea of here, Tam, what he's saying is, think of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Goats format.
Yeah.
The idea of what most Goats format decks are doing are all the same. They are all playing X amount of high powerhouse cards, but you can individually put a couple or an amount of choice cards that were also still good in the format at the time, and it's still being in that format, but it's doing the same game plan. Like, it's still a deck that plays BLS. It's still a deck that's playing Breaker. Like you're still playing all these key chaos swords. You're playing these key cards that people are saying these are the best cards in the format. I would say they're at the same deck. Like, they're the same deck, but there's a few meaningful choices that do change the way that it's played, or you have answers to different things, or etc. Right? So, like, and some people would say that the Goats format for Yu-Gi-Oh is one of the best formats of all time.
I'm going
Right?
to everybody, welcome to Tam and Barrett Yu-Gi-Oh! Super Show. I just did a quick Google search, and my AI overlords just told me there's at least 10 to 12 widely recognized viable decks in the Go format. I do think that there are some really good bombs that are staples across, which is another topic I actually wanted to talk about today before Pringles Man 123 came on. But like, it's example of like goat control, chaos control / turbo, warrior beatdown, empty jar, gear feed control, goat narcs. Like those are all different ideas, but like there's a lot of them that are using very like specific bombs. But like I don't know the exact examples, but there will be some of these powerhouse cards and the main themes that are not necessarily inside of everybody. It's not a singular deck format. I think a single deck format is bad. I think that's not good.
But I do like what I'm going to use. I like what Dean. I like what Dean is saying here, though, because he is like I mean, he isn't in the idea of like in a theoretical world, according to Dean, because again, this is also an opinion. As long as you can still like express yourself, and I think is the idea that he's talking about. Even if it means you're conforming and playing the best cards in the game, your meaningful decisions that you make within the game, and those niche cards that make you a little quirky, can be a healthy format. If let's say in a leader-based game, we're all playing the same leader. I see this almost sideways. Then instead, if we talk about the SWU format in set 2. Star Wars Unlimited, sorry for people that don't understand the shorthand, but basically the format, according to a bunch of people, was a very good format because you could play different styles, you could make meaningful choices in deck building.
Yeah.
But as long as you were all okay with playing Boba Fett.
Correct.
As long as you were all okay with playing Boba Fett, you could play yellow Boba, you could play yellow blue Boba, you could play yellow green Boba, you could play yellow red Boba. Like, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
As long as you were comfortable, everyone handshaking and being like, hey, you have to play Boba, but it's the best aggro deck, the best mid-range, the best control deck, etc.
And this is why I think like the comparison of Yu-Gi-Oh is not fair, even though like that's the one
that's
that
fair.
Like,
I would agree.
We're the go-to, because when you look at the idea of if everybody and I'm gonna go ahead and use the buzzword that I care about for a healthy format. Like if I had to boil it down to a single word, it's just agency. I think agency makes for a good format. You get to play what you want, and that is wide. I'm down to play all 3 symbols on Kirishima. It's nice and wide, and all 3 symbols are doing different things and ideas. The issue with Kirishima is it didn't feel that way, but it was a 1-step format. There's a ton of red flags for the Kirishima example, but like for Boba Fett, people really enjoyed that format because there was agency to play the game that you wanted as long as you were Boba Fett. And so like it's very good if you like scrub away all of the idea of I'm playing a Star Wars game to play my cool favorite Star Wars character who is Luke Skywalker or Obi-Wan Kenobi or whatever, and it's just like the Boba Fett card game. Like that's not very fun.
Yeah.
It's actually Alex Maraska, personal friend of mine and Barrett's. He used to keep his Super Smash Brothers Melee disc inside of the box copy of Star Fox Adventures, and he goes, "This is the same shit." Because Fox was just the best character in that game, and it really felt like you don't have any agency, and so like that doesn't feel very good when it comes to like if I'm trying to play Super Smash Brothers and everybody's available, but it's actually just Star Fox Adventures. Like it's not actually like a good healthy game. That's not necessarily true when it comes to Melee. That's hyperbole. But when I take it, I look at, let's bring it all the way back to UniVersus. The meta right now feels very wide, even though we've got some decks kind of doing the exact same thing. Right now, the talk of the town is Equipment Heist Mutant Machine, right? Like that combo, that tactic that's happening is really potent. And did you watch the games that me and Barlow played on stream, Barrett, at all?
No.
He Mutant Machined me on 2 with Toga 4.
Nice.
He removed a Kamui Woods and put Mutant Machine in his card pool on his attack string and was like, actually, in the middle of my attacking turn, I've got Mutant Machine. And then killed me. And I was like, Barlow, what the fuck just happened, dude?
God forbid Toga 4 is playable.
And like I'm mad at Mutant Machine. I think it's sorry. I'm mad at Equipment Heist for whatever reason, but like that was very cool. And that it gives you agency over this character who has seen no competitive play to now be played. Like that's sick. That's so cool.
That you
I'm so
that you know
in.
is like getting no future support aside
None.
from cards in the card pool, right?
Yeah. Well, if they
I
keep
wanna bring it
printing
back
cool
to-
retro cards, she will get support. If they keep printing these really awesome retro cards that have difficulties, you know.
I wanna bring it back to the 123rd man of the Pringles. Based off of your interpretation, because this is a very opinion-based question, because like you said, it is something you can always talk about because it's always changing, and what people's ideas and if they agree or disagree if a current format is. I would say that yeah, I think a lot of people are very vocal right now in the game. But in your understanding right now, Dean, of what people are saying and what people are talking about, and you're vibing because you say it doesn't matter as long as you like the game, you play it. You're not really. I would call you a vibes gamer.
Mhm.
My question to you is that do you feel, because what we can talk about is what's happening right now, do you feel that this meta is good? And if so, show your work. Or would you say that from what you're understanding and what you're hearing and talking to people about, that you don't think it's good because it directly conflicts with what you said earlier?
So I would say, so again, with the framework, as long as we have a large number of meaningful decision points in our deck building and gameplay, I would say it's good. And to this format specifically, I would say that it's good because in deck building, I believe you have a wide array of decks that you can pick from that could reasonably win an event. I know there's boogeymen in the format that people are complaining about, but if you told me that these upcoming regionals, if you told me Godzilla won it, if you told me Deku won it, if you told me Zeke won it, if you told me Pony won it, if you told me Hawks won it, if you told me Mimic won it, Devil Jin, hell, Rodan, like there is a wide array of characters that you can pick and realistically win an event with. Now, there's obviously going to be ups and downs in that where, you know, maybe your Deku deck's not actually that good because your Godzilla match was really bad, or it's a bad Deku deck because it's bad in the mirror or whatever. But I think that in part is our time to make decisions. You know, we get to choose which incredibly powerful character and cards we get to play, and that is a wide decision tree. Never mind just picking the character, you can also change your symbols, where obviously we see a lot of these characters on one symbol over and over, but in Godzilla's example, there was Zack playing the Earth Godzilla deck as opposed to Chaos.
I still think
and
that's
there's
the best
reasons
deck.
to do that. Yeah, dude,
That's
Norma
my
Saxon that
Godzilla,
deck is
for
crazy.
sure.
Like, it's so nuts. But you know, exactly, like there's different decisions where you have with that. The Deku deck is primarily on air, but there is reasons to be on the other symbols. And for example, Void still gets a lot of the air cards like Sweeping Daggers and Goblin Bolt.
Yeah.
But there's some other technology you get in it. I think the Midnight Foundation that's errated is pretty good. And so maybe that's a reason you switch to that symbol. Maybe you hedge against some of these decks. This is all to say there is so much to consider in the deck that you're picking, and then in turn the cards that you're picking, that I would argue that makes the meta good. And then I would go even further to say that the gameplay you have with these powerful decks vastly changes depending on what you're playing against. And maybe the gameplay experiences can be frustrating if you're playing your hypothetically your Pony deck against Godzilla. Maybe you're just getting smacked in the face for like 10 damage on each move.
Yeah.
But I think because that is so different than what you would have to do against Deku, that's an interesting thing for you as the player, because now you have to be like, okay, I can devote some number of cards in my deck to make this Godzilla matchup easier, or alternatively, I can change how I'm playing Pony. Maybe I have not played Pony that much, but she has literally 3 enhances on her. So maybe instead
4.
I should be
You fool! She has 4 enhances on her.
4 enhances. My mistake.
Don't you disrespect her?
I'm so sorry. But like maybe you should make all your moves low or something, and Godzilla just doesn't have good low blocks. Or he's blocking with Walk the Dog because you've made them low. As opposed to him blocking with like a Fearsome Transformation or some shitty foundation he kept in his hand.
Sure.
And you know, usually with Pony, you're just clearing everything, but you have these options that can change how you play the game, and you have made another decision.
Can I move your goalpost a little bit?
Hmm?
I think a meta being defined by what decks can win is not where I'm at. I think a meta is defined by what can make top 8. Like, so even looking at like the bubble decks, whenever it comes to this, like what went X1 and 1 and missed because you had to go X1. Like I think that is also very cool. When we went to Louisville and we saw like Zeke 1, right? The 5-hand size that transforms and becomes the 6-hand size. Not on my bingo card, not on pretty much anybody's bingo card, but the fact that that guy was allowed to play and exist shows me how open and wide the game is, right? Like I think that just looking at, oh, this character won the event, is pigeonholing yourself to the cool ideas that I think you can put work into in order to widen out the game, have agency and like play the game in like an interesting, unique space, rather than, oh, Godzilla's the best character in the game, I need to play Godzilla. Right?
So
Godzilla won the
I
last
actually,
regional, so I have to play that guy.
yeah, I actually completely agree with you. I just think not a lot of people would agree with that, so I wanted to keep it a little more tame because I keep looking at what's just beneath the surface of Top Cuts, and people are playing characters that I think a lot of people
Crazy.
would throw under the bus.
100%.
Allura,
100%.
we've talked about him a little bit even the past couple of weeks, right? Like Allura doing the Mechazoid thing. The Devil Jin was even like really close in Denver, right? And then is still coming and making assurance even post errata, right? Like, you know, like these other things you're talking about that like just because they're not breaking through the surface, like, and then you talk about even the ones that do make the top cut, right? Because we have to sit here and talk about this stupid Chromer that I have on my desk, this Aaron's Humanity's Hope, right? And
Yeah.
then like it does make a top cut appearance, right? And you're like, well, hold on, like,
Yeah, what's
now
the
we have to have
sauce
a
that I
weird conversation.
missed, right?
Yeah, yeah. And I agree with that, and that's the idea, right? Is like, I think at the end of the day, I can agree with your first point 100%. Again, the soapbox time, which is whatever your personal feelings on the format at this current point are validated. All of this is an opinion-based conversation.
Yeah.
Because I think there's another conversation that says, hey, as a fundamental person here having a conversation with you, Dean, I agree with your takes. I think that is a very logical way at looking at a way to define something as good or bad. But if you told me that these 7 decks or strategies were powerful in the game right now, and me as a player, I don't enjoy those strategies, I would say that the format and the meta is bad.
Yeah.
Because my way of playing the game and enjoying the game is not something I like. That doesn't mean that person will participate. You know what I'm saying? So like,
Mhm.
that's why you can always have this conversation, right? Is because like if you're someone in the game that I don't know, what's a good example. Old strategies. Tam, help me out. If you're a
I mean, easy
what's a
ones
card
like
that's not good anymore?
go wide, go tall, hard control, reversals,
Whatever.
foundation
Yeah.
destruction, hand destruction. Like
I think
Hand
something
discard.
like
I'll do discard.
Yeah.
Okay, how about if you're a fan, we're like, my favorite deck to play in the game is I want to discard all of my opponent's cards in their hand. You know, I'm gonna play Yasha because Yasha, she says discard 2 cards of your opponent's hand. And the reality is that strategy is either not very good in the format right now where people draw a bunch of cards, or 2, you don't have a card pool that's strong enough to compete with these other winning strategies. You might say that the format and meta is bad because your favorite strategy isn't being accessible.
Yeah.
Like the game's not accessible to you and how you want to play the game. I always bring this one up. Shout out to all the Moneta 2 players out there, but you know who you are. People that do enjoy that game style are a different category of people that don't enjoy that play style.
Yeah.
And it just becomes a world, right, where even if there was 50 decks in our format, they might not be the one that you like. And so you don't feel like you have a home, and you feel like you can't compete doing your thing. Because I would say that, like, oh, you can adapt, you can change your strategy, you can pick a different deck. But if you don't vibe with them, if you don't feel like you can make meaningful decisions with them, if it's not the way that you play the game, it's not how you think, you won't have as good success with it just because it is a good deck.
Yeah.
Because like I think of even like the nationals that I won, like you might have been in the consensus of people that said Kirishima 2 is the best deck in the format, but if you weren't a good Kirishima 2 player, you had to figure something else out.
Yep. Yeah.
And then do you feel like you're at a disadvantage because you're not playing the best character in the room, according to the people, according to the perceived meta?
On this same idea, it's tough in a IP based game of, man, I really want XYZ character to work because they're my favorite
True.
one from the series. Michelangelo is my favorite turtle. I don't like Michelangelo. I don't like how that guy was represented in the game. Do I see how he was represented? Sure. Theming, flavor, whatever. I don't care. I don't want to play that way. Guess who's never made a Michelangelo deck? TamCardwell. I just haven't made one because I don't see the vision. I don't like it. And so if I was such a diehard Michelangelo fan that I forced my square peg round hole to make it, and then it ends up not being good, and then and because I'm fighting what's going on, because I'm so determined to play Mikey, that maybe I would find success on some other slightly different character doing a different thing that is the thing that I want. But I'm so focused on, we're an IP based game, I really care about Michelangelo, I want to play Michelangelo. And so like this is a big deal in our game specifically. When you look at the pie chart, that is not what normal pie charts look like for other games, right? When we come to Bear, you've been looking at a lot of Riftbound content, albeit there are 16 characters in that game. The top 3 decks take up 75% or more of the metagame pretty much every time. It's just like these are the ones, and the best character sometimes is 50% of the room. Like that's just like, the numbers are crazy, and that is not our pie chart. If we hit double digits on a character, we're like, damn, that guy's represented. And the pie chart's like 8 people sharing 2 decks each. And that's
and
the
even
product of our
historically,
game.
and even historically as commentators, that's something that we pay attention to because it is, at least as we're doing in production, something that the people generally view as positive, is that you can play a bunch of these things and feel comfortable enough to take them in an event and think that you can do well, right? Because even just that perception of you thinking you can do well with the deck that you bring is enough for you to lock it in, and that's what contributes to the pie chart.
Yeah.
Granted, we're not doing 512 person events like Riftbound, but I would make a strong argument that even if we did, I don't think the Godzilla slice would go over 50%.
No, I don't think so.
And I only say Godzilla because he's the one in the most recent history that has had more than 10%. And it was because it was at 20.
Mm-hmm.
So if
That's
people value a wide array of strategies and agency in the games and deck building, not just in game and also in deck building, and we are a character based game, something as simple as looking at representation of characters, and if the pool was larger, how would it look? I think there's that real conversation, right? Of like, that would be perceived to be a healthy format, that would be or a good meta. But at the same time, if the most represented character in the game is maybe only 20%, that means you still have the highest chance of running into that character. And if you personally don't like what that deck is doing, and you don't vibe with it, and you don't want to play it, and you don't like playing against it, you might see it as still being a bad format.
Yeah. I know Andrew Holder, foe of the show, is a big fan of having small character selection, small deck selection metas, and does not like having a wide array. He's like, if there are 10, 15, 20 decks in the format, I'm not into it. I don't want that. I want 6, 7, 8. Like, that's what I want to prepare against and play when I walk in the room. There's 8 things that I have to keep track of. And then all the random rogue decks, just like, I don't want to play against that because, I put effort into playing in this very specific limited idea. If it's 5 rounds of curveballs, then that's not what I want to do. And my growing up playing this game, a good meta has been, when I go and I play an event, I've got 9 rounds of curveballs. And that includes all the way up into top cuts. right? I play my 6 rounds and then I go top 8, top 4 finals. That's my 9 rounds. They're all curveballs because somebody has brought something really cool and unique and fun, and it really feels like peak UniVersus because I am adapting and changing and moving some sort of idea every single time that I play the game, which is why like we traditionally we don't play 60 card lists. We go up to 67, 68, 69, 70 cards because I don't know how many curveballs there are going to be in the current format. I don't know, right? Like when I get waxed by a Toga 4 and I go, I didn't expect that to happen. I can't believe that you're allowed to play both pristine swordplay and Superfly Stomp and like adding in cards to with Kamui Woods to pick up with the airship that you built in with Equipment Heist. And it's just like, dude, what the fuck is happening? What a crazy curveball. But when you boil it down, it's an Equipment Heist deck that just happens to play 3 pretty potent symbols. Dick, right? Like that's the curveball. But I should have been ready to deal with Equipment Heist. And so like it certainly is. There's a lot of push and pull when it comes to what makes a healthy format. And to boil it all down, I think Barrett said it best. Like it's all like your perspective of what do you value as being healthy, and how much are you willing to bend, not break your perception on what is good.
Yeah, I think I've had this conversation with multiple people, just like for fun and also in slight preparation of talking to you guys about it.
We're not your first ones.
No.
Well, disappointed. Go ahead.
What it seems to me is everyone can get behind this idea. You know, people want to make decisions in their games. It really just seems like this sliding scale, as you mentioned with Andrew, and even your experiences with the game of how much decision making do I want? And you know, there's not like an actual number on that, but in the Andrew example, it's I don't want that. Whereas Tam, you saying you want 9 curveballs, like no, give me my decision making. Like I want something different. And obviously that can lead to some different feelings about the formats when it's such a broad premise as what makes a meta good.
Totally. And so like the actual definition is of like what makes a format good. The answer isn't lack of it's not lack of decisions inside the game. It's actually lack of decisions at the deck building screen, right? If I know that there's a problem and I don't have any tools to deal with it, then it's a bad meta, right? Because if your thing is just overpowered and broken, I can't mess with it, interact with it. The example that I'll give
join
is,
them.
Sure, and then we're just
that's where you end up where 50% of the field is the same deck.
Correct.
Is when that happens, right? This is a 1 deck 2 deck format, and I mean the reality is that I don't think our game has ever been that way. And even when you get to the
forward.
Yeah, and even when you get to like the closest moments in history that it would be, I think you could just make the argument that maybe it just wasn't solved enough because of the amount of people that play our game and it not being as big, and people just not willing to put in the work because people have already found said solution to problem.
Mature 52 is or 59 was kind of crazy.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know what that one does, but yeah, I believe it.
It was a 59 attack mature deck that said that like your mid attacks like get +2 to your check, and then you play a bunch of 3 difficulty moves, and you just like on your turn 1 you played out like 4 attacks, and then on turn 2 you played out 4 attacks, and then on turn 3 you played out 5 attacks, and it was just like, and you're just like you couldn't actually survive to do the thing. I don't think Mature ever made it to an event. I think Jeremy Ray showed up with that deck one time, and Jason went, well, that's not happening. just got rid of the character.
Right. But other times that I think you could even get the closest, I think, Dean, you brought up the set 1 MHA, Kirishima 1, right?
Yeah.
I think that would even just be more of like baby infancy first set problems, right? Where this one's just a little too overtuned, and instead of people like actually maybe trying to figure out how to beat it, it just got hit so fast because people were complaining, would it have actually have been like a one deck or two deck or three deck format? Maybe, but like we won't ever know, right? Because as soon as that got dealt with, we have the actual world that we lived in, right? Which was like you had multiple set one MHA characters do well. Some of them were outliers, obviously, but like multiple things were doing okay.
I've been correct. Mature got 2 events.
Okay.
I just want to put it on the record in case somebody's not reading chat. But yeah,
I believe you forgot what our fellow commentator Jesse Cervini did at an event and took down everybody.
You were surprised that I forgot a thing? That's crazy. All in all, though, man, yeah, I think we hammered this point out pretty good. Any final thoughts on what makes a meta good, Dean?
We could keep going forever, so I'm not gonna bring up the other point.
Do you think it's
just
quick?
That just that if you say how important deck building decisions were, if like a meta is like tier 0, if the gameplay sucks, then like that's like if there's no decisions in gameplay, that's what I mean when I say gameplay sucks. Then even if you have deck building decisions, I think that's an issue. So I think there needs to be a balance in both gameplay and deck building.
I think that is fair.
Yeah, like if hypothetically UniVersus character says enhance, my move gets 100, it's like that's just a free enhance. Like
I think a good example of this
plenty, buddy. Let's not.
I think the good example of this is like if in the hypothetical world the format was, hey, you could play every 7-hander that exists in the format because we are all playing aggro kill your opponent on turn 2. Yeah, I think there's a real debate there, right? Because we're not even really playing the game for an extended period of time, and it's like it almost feels like a die roll format, right? I think that is a real thing to say, absolutely. I think that is so hard to happen in reality for our game that like I don't know what that would even like begin to look like card pool wise. People's conceptions of the game would have to be all in agreement where they would all believe that fact where we're just all going to play aggro 7-handers, right? When characters like King Ghidorah exists or it would just be so hard, but it could exist. It could.
I mean, part of the like blessing and curse, and the thing that I'm trying to change when it comes to UniVersus, if I won the lottery and I bought UniVersus tomorrow, I think that has a lot to do with like truly character diversity of like what can do what, right? Tabe has the all symbol, right? Am I crazy?
He does. He can rising uppercut you.
Rising uppercut and then eat the card out of your card pool. Like what a slick answer to fight things like it's on my brain right now, equipment heist, right? And like out of nowhere, when you get rising uppercut Tabe to eat your equipment heist, like you're like, yo, what the fuck? You got removed from the game. I can't even go pick it up later. What is happening? And then you turn around, that character's got the evil symbol, and he equipment heists you back. Like it's like you constantly have the you never really have paper rock scissors in our game because of the amount of choices that you have at the deck building screen and the character select screen because of like your character is the one thing that you start the game with. I always have this one, and so how impactful is it? We have not evolved to the point in our game where, because of the attune symbol, and I think that it can happen in the future, your character does not matter, just the symbols on your character matter, so that you have the cool combo, or that you have a attuned symbol suite. Like, we haven't seen that evolve yet. Your character has almost always mattered, right? But I was playing games with somebody in Riftbound last night, and they were like, "Oh, I picked this character because they have these 2 color combinations, and I just wanted to play that." Like, okay, well, your character doesn't do anything. Like, nah, not really. I think my character Lux draws on 2 cards in my deck. Sick, dude. That's dope. That's sick. You've got 40 of them, and 2 of them draw for you. Why are you playing this character? It's
because Victor also exists, which are the same color, and has real text, right?
And so like what my takeaway is like it's very hard for you to have a paper rock scissors format in our game, and if you do have it in the game, something is fundamentally truly broken. Not just like the people are complaining and are having a bad. Something's broken if we have a paper rock scissors format in UniVersus.
Yeah.
Which is why our game's not so heavy handed with bans. Truthfully, it's because like the designers do a decent enough job of like giving you tools for the most part of like to do things about it. You just have to be willing to make concessions deck building wise and be like, yo, I'm gonna play Devastating Loss because I hate assets and backups. So that means you have to play a death character. It's the reason right now I'm not going to be playing. My current plan for when I go to play in Glasgow is I'm not playing Pony. I'm playing Mikasa 4 because I think the
You're gonna
death
have a
symbol
blast.
is
That
crazy
deck's
right
broken.
now. I think that
That
deck's
deck
broken.
is so
That deck's
crazy.
doing a lot of Pony ideas. That deck is doing
Yeah.
exactly what I want with Pony, but has 35 health, just so he doesn't get
Mhm.
absolutely murdered by Mutant Machine on turn 2. Right? Like you
Yeah.
actually have to. You sometimes you make me. You give me a fighting chance to try and push back. Where one equipment high string and Pony just explodes sometimes. It's just like 22 versus 35 is a big deal.
And in that same conversation, right? If that is the case that you're worried about, maybe that's a meaningful deck decision where maybe Air Pony isn't the call, and you shift over to Earth for
Mhm.
forcing surrenders or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
right? Or Fire because
Mhm.
forcing surrender. And again, you have to put in the work. You have to put in the repetitions. You have to be able to change and adapt like that. But if you're
Yes.
like, I'm only Air Pony gamer, spoiler alert, you have the least protection against this one strategy.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's just that is a meaningful choice you made for one perk. It comes with a detriment.
Yeah. Official final thoughts, Dean. We've been yapping for 30 minutes.
Okay, I got two things for you. I just wanted to shout out the YouTube stuff that I do because you guys mentioned the decks below the surface.
Yeah.
I do a YouTube series called Incredible Display where I talk with people where he went away from a Top Cut record, and so I talked with the guy who topped with Allura or got 10th place with Allura in a top 8 event. There's going to be a Donnie deck profile from Devin's deck list from the Canada regional, so people want to check that out on the Metagame Liberation Army YouTube channel. You know, we got the stuff beneath the surface.
I have a
And
question
then-
for you then.
Hmm?
What do you do about the name of your podcast when that card's not in this format anymore, or your series? Sorry.
It's fine. It's still good. It's a good day.
Okay,
Incredible
right.
Display. Come on.
Okay,
And then
go ahead.
the last final thing I wanted to say, 'cause when you were talking about the Tabe thing, there's a foundation called Food, which eats your opponent's cards.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so
yeah.
have this lesson. You can just eat your opponent's equipment heist. You can reach across the
Yep.
table, grab it, and eat it, and that's how you beat it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yummy.
And that's it. Thank you for having me on, guys.
All right. We'll see you, buddy.
Thanks, man. Have a good
Good
one.
topic.
See ya.
If you want on the show, just like Dean just was, you can either take and turn in your hard-earned channel points, and we will read your message via the Twitch chat. I don't have a way to do it on YouTube yet. I promise it'll happen. Or you can come in and join the Discord. Come be in the conversation, like my good buddy Malamoan is. Hello, Malamoan. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, bud?
I'm good, man. What's your question?
Hello, welcome.
What's up? All right, there we go. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was trying to get my Bluetooth earbud situated there. So I am washing dishes while I was listening to the show. So
Hell yeah.
That's what we're here for.
All right, man. What's your question?
all right. So I was asking, what type of content do you think is missing or that is needed in the UniVersus sphere?
Are you saying I'm not doing a very good job at my job? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was
Ah.
like, right now there's nothing to answer because the best podcast already exists. It's right here.
So interesting.
It's also a call-in show, which doesn't exist in anybody else's content. So I mean, I don't know what else you want. I have to think on this one. I would honestly let Tam lead here. Of
Yeah.
like, I would shift it even like in a separate question of like not just what's missing, but like what have you seen be successful in other games / things that like you? I guess I do have an answer, but I'll let you still go first, Tam. Of like, What do you think's missing? What are you not doing? What do you wish you could do? And then you also then wish that people liked it and people would want more of it, right?
Oh, I like that. So the thing that I'm missing out of the game is some. I think that our game is ripe for video essay style tournament recaps. I think that if we don't have a historian of our game telling cool tournament structures stories. I think the person who would be best at it actually quit content and doesn't want to put the effort in. I think Andrew Holder going through and doing like deep dive of like this is somebody's entire career. Where imagine, I mean, where Wub? Imagine showcasing Wub's rise to his regional in the year and a half that he played, like how prolific of a player he was from starting the game into going and crushing it. Same thing with Calvin Tahan. Hey, Yu-Gi-Oh player, do a short little idea. Prolific Yu-Gi-Oh player comes in, never does a bad job in a tournament necessarily, like has a couple bad breaks, and then ends up finally winning with a chaos themed deck, which he entered the game with Amajiki, now into Godzilla. Big momentum gamer, get some interviews, do some stuff and like some real heavy history lesson style content. I think that's so dope. That's so dope.
So yeah, I think Andrew definitely would be the guy for the job as well too. So I'm always pining for Holder to come back full time to the UVS community, but
Don't hold your breath,
I
buddy.
think that's mute at this point, unless Naruto comes back or comes into the
Hopefully.
chat. But we'll see.
Sorry, you brought that up, and I was like, man, like in that same realm, I'm struggling because UVS Ultra doesn't have every event, but like, it's how I felt about in 2022 how David Pena showed up and started and top cutted. I think actually every event that he
Yep.
went to,
Yep.
and he doesn't play anymore, so like obviously he's not somebody that we talk about anymore, but like the prolific 1 year crazy incredible run that David Pena had, like I think is something that could be on like that series that you're talking about, which I think is so cool.
Travis
For me,
Tangeman having a
yeah.
like prolific run in like year 1 or year 2 of MHA, like same idea. Like we have these really crazy runs, but we just don't have anybody who is down to be the historian and is willing to put in the work, because this is not a once a week kind of video. This is like a once a month dope graphics, put something out for the love of the game kind of idea.
Yeah. On my answer, I'll be honest with you, and it's not because people aren't doing it, but I just wish it was more frequency ish and it had like crazy production value, but it's like and again, I will make some shout outs, but like I think we just need a real content creator that is willing to like full send the Reels, TikTok, YouTube Shorts space, and less in the sense of just like grabbing clips from videos that are going out, but like no, I am making UniVersus TikToks. That's what I do. You know what I'm saying? And like there are people that are doing this, right? You know, like Sam Tate's doing this. I know Tam, you grab them, and it's not always just grabbing a clip from a video. Not coping with Cardwell. I'm sorry. Response on Play
Response on Play is
did
a huge
this,
shout out.
and they killed it because they had one go viral from the Louisville regional.
Yeah.
Viral in the sense that like it got a crazy amount of views and likes and stuff. And like as somebody who is on social media a lot, and I am on Facebook or Instagram, YouTube Shorts, and TikTok, I get a ton of card game content all the time because it's something I like. And I'm not saying I want people opening packs of UniVersus, but I want skit comedy, doing the local trends of TikTok, but incorporating it into the world of UniVersus. Like I want that kind of content because regardless if you believe in it or not, short attention span content creation is actually like the way to be successful right now. And I'm not saying that it means that will be the reason that there's like a bunch of eyes on our game, but I just think it would become like a universal way of showing that we don't live in the Stone Age. You know, like I get Yu-Gi-Oh shorts all the time, and that stuff is hilarious. Actually, peak comedy. And I wish we had more of it.
So I know you got Yu-Gi-Oh, but is there other like examples of other card games that create this type of content that you consume um, that you're talking about specifically here, like the shorts and things like that?
That's probably my biggest one that I consume is shorts, TikToks, reels. Because I'll be honest with you, even if it's somebody from like a YouTuber, I'm not gonna go watch that full clip. Like I'm not gonna go watch the stream. I'm not gonna go watch the video. I'm gonna watch the biggest highlight that you have there. And that's what I do. I partake a little bit in podcast watching. But spoiler alert, our game has a million of those and always has. So I don't think we're missing out on that. I don't think we're missing that. There's a flavor of podcast for every podcast listener out there for if you enjoy talking and hearing about UniVersus. Again, shout outs to Response on Play because I actually have a lot of fun listening to theirs.
Can I give you some stats? I just pulled them up real fast.
Sure.
Guess. So their Louisville clip that went viral. How
Yes.
many views do you think it has?
13,000.
1.6 million.
1.6 million.
Jeez.
Crazy.
They had another clip. Their second most popular clip was one of them losing at locals and yelling at each other, but the yell is like dubbed over with like compliments, like, "Hey, how'd you do at locals tonight?" And he's like,
I've seen that
screaming.
one. It's
Yeah.
good.
Oh yeah. I've seen that one too, and that's again that was a TikTok trend, and then it just applied to our space. So,
154.5
Exactly.
yeah, I get what you're saying.
thousand.
That's what I'm saying, man.
This
Like,
is the
that
most.
first number you said was crazy.
This
That
is
second number you said, I'm like, yeah. That's like normal card game space.
this is the most mainstream successful UniVersus channel there is. They are the biggest. They just are. They have numbers wise. 1.6 million, 154K, 26K, 20K, 16K, 32K, 33K, 7K, 24K. Like they crush the short space. They crush it. That Response on Play is
I
absolutely
kinda-
killing the space, and there should just be more. Huge flowers.
I want to put this in perspective, right? And the reason I want to put this in perspective is because for people that don't do YouTubing, again, I'm new to the space again, and obviously Tam does it. Mal, I know you have content creation as well. You said that most viral YouTube short or whatever had 1.2 million.
0.6, but yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so 1.6 million. For everybody that isn't aware with it, for you to hit the lowest level of monetization for YouTube, you need to have a short that has 3 million public views. Like that's the bar. Granted, there's a different thing that you can have, which is 3,000 hours of public watch time on videos. But like again, the fact that there is a whole separate metric and 3 million is the minimum low or the bar that you have to hit if you want to make money on YouTube. And that one short got them halfway there.
Sometimes that's all it takes. No, I said it's just that I'm
just
just
smart,
trying
right?
to get a sense of things. Like I said, as being a content creator, one, I'm going to make what I want to. Because what I like and what I feel, because I'm going to put the effort into it, I'm going to put the time into it to try not only to fill a niche that I think needs to be filled, but also, just to put quality content that's out there to hopefully inspire others to do the same. But it's just that, again, I just feel like there is a ton of space that can be explored, but I just don't know if, like Tam talked about the video essay, like esports, eScore, I think is what the name of the channel is. They do video essays all the time, and they cover they primarily do fighting games, but like they've covered Dota 2, they cover tons of different. I think that's like the peak when we talk about like video essays. That's what I think. Or Tam, I know the one you shared a while back, like the one with Amsa.
Yeah.
Like that's that type of deal. But I think honestly, it just feels daunting because, of course, our game is so small, and then trying to put in the work to, learn maybe Adobe Premiere or anything like that, it somewhat kind of is discouraging people to even attempt to.
It's
It's
effort.
just like, okay, I'm going to put on all this work and then it's going to get 100 views because our space is just not that big.
100%, 100%. Which is why, like, what's missing in the content space? The answer is there's nothing missing in the content space. Like, that's truly the answer, because if something was quote unquote missing, somebody would have the passion to do it and make it, right? People make things that they're passionate about. People make things that they want to make. And like the real question is like, it's not what type of content you think is missing. Your question was, what content do you and Barrett want to watch in the UniVersus space?
Yeah.
Like, what's a UniVersus video that
right?
you would want to watch?
And that's just it. Is like, at least when it comes to the question, what type of content do I think is missing? I think that one is missing, the one that I was talking about. And if it did exist, I would watch them every day. I would watch them every day.
Yeah, I'm hoping chat would chime in on that too, because they're important for that as well too. They're also the UVS community, and like I do my best of trying to, scope out the space between the multiple, UVS discords and other socials and things like that to try to, pick up on what people are saying that they wish that they had, or things they had, or even things when I first started out that I wish that I had too, and trying to cover that. But it just, I don't know. Sometimes it just feels like it's a small team effort as far as for what's going on. And granted, content creation is not just a like fly by night type of effort deal. Like when you decide to do this, it's like Andrew Heller jokes and says that it's not hard, but it requires effort.
A good friend of mine always said that the hardest part is pressing the record button. And I'll tell you what I miss. This is different. I'll tell you a piece of content that we used to have that we don't have anymore. I miss the wrestling style promos. Granted,
yeah,
I know a lot of those were like initiative with old Jasco games and stuff like that, but like there's nothing stopping the content creators doing stuff like that, because we have a bunch of them and doing that kind of stuff. And as somebody who was not into wrestling during the time that was happening, to someone who is now into wrestling, I really miss it. And I wish that we had it today. And I work for the company, so it's like I don't get to make that content, but I would eat it up. I would absolutely eat it up.
So
it's one thing that oh, go ahead, Tam. I'm sorry.
The closest thing we had to it in recent time was the Tam and Sam showcase match.
Yeah.
But the issue was communication on what that was, and I don't want to bring up the whatever, but like I certainly took it as more of a wrestling match, and they took it more as we're going crazy, which is just like a miscommunication on our end, right? But like I think like I would love to have some more team rivalries exist, right? I would love to have individual like I watched a and Yoink and Twist from a Flesh and Blood event. They had a team versus team on Tabletop Simulator day one after everybody got home from their pre-release of the most recent Super Slam. They had a 5v5 team match where 5 people played on TTS back to back to back for this prolific team versus this prolific team. That'd be so sick for final round in Let's Talk UVS. The day that Guilty Gear drops, we all get back from our pre-release starting at 6 p.m. Pacific or whatever. We just jam 5 matches on TTS, and it's commentated by somebody, like, cause like there was like a pseudo production, like it was fun. It was super dope. But like to do that, it does take 3 weeks to a month of prep work and planning, and we have to coordinate 10 individuals to be playing games all together at the correct time from all across the country, and then 2 people casting, and then somebody on the that's effort. And so
I volunteered to be the Michael Cole of UniVersus. I volunteered.
Right. and because it's just like another thing that I had loved, and I knew that it took a lot of effort from you, but I loved when you had the creator clashes. Of course, a ton of production went into that. But like I ate that up and watched that multiple times within the same day of a release just because production quality was so good. It was just nice, like, okay, here's two players, but then the back and forth between listening, between the mindset on the decision for, what cards are being played and things like that. I love that. But I also think that I just honestly think our community is too nice. Like again, I come from heavy into the fighting game community, and like there's nobody who like I live for pop offs. Like you can all be respectful and everything like outside of a match, but like just like I just would love to see like some grit and things like that. Like I know people hate Leffen. Tam knows what I'm talking about. For anything like that. But
I'm
there's some
educated.
people. Okay, okay.
Love Big
My bad, Brett.
Left.
I was unfamiliar with your game. I'm sorry, but again, we just talked about in the FGC, like there are these rivalries, right? Like there's this hype up. It's not just like, oh, okay, these two played in the last regional, or whatnot, and he's got the better of him, this or that, and it's just like, no, this person popped off. Like I know it's not in his nature, but I would love to see freaking Broberg just like, go straight Bill Goldberg on somebody, just finishes the table and just like, who's next? But I know we won't get that. It's just not in Kev.
I think
It's,
that's
But
probably
just
my
some of
last
the things like
point.
that.
yeah.
Is like I think that is something that we're maybe missing because of how smaller our game is, and because we have a lot of people willing to do content creation and do stuff like that, which is the summit idea that I know Tam loves, and like the fighting game community does stuff like this, and I agree with you in the idea that we have enough players in our community that could make it prolific and make it fun to enjoy and watch, but like it's the scheduling, it's the resources, it's the time it takes to do all those things. And at the end of the day, someone has to be willing to do it because, at least for those communities and those things, they are also community held things. And that
Yeah.
is like a torch that you have to continue to carry through. But yeah, I mean, I think something like that would be very successful for our game.
Dude,
But it
I've looked at
requires the
making
investment.
a summit like 5 times in my life, and like legitimately, seriously, being like, okay, what's the largest Airbnb that I could order and have 16 people plus staff plus myself like all sleep in it? How do we get people to come in and fly to wherever this Airbnb
Right.
is and yada like whatever like host this big massive event? And I think the actual answer is I think in our current spot, I think that summits can't
No, I
happen,
went in there already.
but we certainly could have like more. Imagine, this is the only one I can think of in recent time. The David Toombs, Justin Birch money matches.
Right.
I think
yeah.
David is down. Ross could help people from Let's Talk EVS. I think he's down like $500 or something like that to Justin. Imagine if crazy. Imagine if we like if it didn't happen on TTS, but happened day 2 at the regional. Like imagine that it was an in-person thing and we hyped it up and it was in the other half of the hall and we like there was some amount of stream involved and like we utilized the space where everybody's going to already be there, be in the room, be in the building. And instead of focusing on the main event, which is what I want you to focus on as somebody on the casting team, you can focus on this other thing, right? Hey, here's this team pop off where they are scheduling a teams format that is exclusively for team members or whatever, right? Like there's cool event community stuff that you could be doing, but the question is that considered content if it's not recorded and produced or whatever? I don't know.
And that's the thing too, is like I think there's like a world for me that even one day like the summit idea, even if it was just for charity, that sounds incredible.
Yeah.
That's just something that I would like 100% do unpaid. Like I would spend my own money, fly myself out to go and do this thing. That like if somebody, I mean, literally email me like or talk to me. If somebody wanted to do something like that, like I would 100% be a contributor, less of a part of the budget. You know what I'm saying? Like I genuinely like would support stuff like that because it's not even and
Right.
I'm saying this in the idea of the content, but it's not about the content. But I think some of the best content you can create is when people are really passionate about something and they get together in a room, and that is literally what we are as UniVersus players.
Yes.
We are so passionate about our game. We all get into a room together. The regionals are always a great time because you get to see everybody and hang out. Imagine if you got them all in the same room together, not just for competing against each other, but like for a good cause. I don't know how you could ever say no.
I would say that's yeah, because even barring stuff from esports, like one of my favorite things to check out with Rocket League, is like they'll have 2v2s and it's one like pro and one rookie, and then they just like have a legit tournament that's going on right there, and then sometimes it's for cash, sometimes it's like charity stuff or things like that. But again, going back to the money matches, again, that's a common thing from the FCC as well too. So I don't know. Like I said, it's just maybe it's just perhaps in broadening our content creation is getting outside of what is in the quote unquote card game sphere and see maybe what other games, what other types of arenas, what they're doing, and try to take some of those ideas and then apply it to our game.
I agree. Just got to have somebody who's willing to do it. And it won't be me. I'm too busy.
Okay, throw the counter right there.
Fair.
Final thoughts before we kick from the call.
Put the desk up.
No, I don't have anything as far as for on mine, but I do want to say that was a great discussion early on with Pringles for meta. I will say that with this game, with UniVersus, with always essentially having 100+ characters at any time during standard, I have gone to switching for deck building to be from having characters to having deck archetypes. Like when I build decks, I've got for example, right now when I build a deck, I have my answers. My top 3 answers are I need a deck I need answers that can be able to handle equipment heist and mute machine, decks that can handle stat manipulation, and then decks that can handle the super blitz aggro like the ponies and things like that. And once I started to switch to deck building based off of deck archetypes and not necessarily characters, that's when I've been starting to find more success and having fun I didn't feel as constrained in my deck building process. Because again, symbols just make different things. An air pony is completely different deck from an earth pony.
Yeah.
I don't want to say, okay, this is for my pony matchup, and then I sit up against a pony and City Rampage gets tossed. And I'm just like, this is not to clear the car pool air pony.
Yeah.
This is I'm going to play big and tall attacks air pony, and I better hope I have my answers. So wow.
I agree. All right, buddy. Thanks for coming on. It was dope.
Yep. Always.
Bye.
I always enjoy being on this, guys. Enjoy the show. See you guys.
With that, if you want to be on the show, all you gotta do is pop off, grab, use your I read the word pop off in chat, which is why I said pop off. I don't know why I said pop off. You can pop off by spending your hard-earned channel points to ask a question, or come join us over in the Discord to come be on the show. Just like my good buddy, my good friend, Misplay LLC, joining the show right now. Misplay, how's it going, man?
What's up, guys?
You sound
What
so
up?
sleepy. What's going on?
Not sleepy. I'm just vibing, you know?
He's vibing.
Mm-hmm. This guy's hit the Benjamin. What's up? What's up? Misplay? How's it going, dude? How's your
It's going
vibe?
good.
What's your question, man?
Well, I'm here with my boys. It's immaculate. What can I say?
True. Vibes. Immaculate.
But yeah, how you guys? That's the real question. How's the show been so far? I kind of joined in a little bit late.
It's good. It's almost over. You're probably our last one.
You
Gotta
are
end
our
off with a
last
bang.
question. Yeah.
True. It's true.
Well, yeah. Do I
Which
say the
is-
question now?
Yes. Yeah. You say the question when I asked you. What's the question, dude?
We were laughing, man. I was just having a good time. How do we all feel about like low rarity, quote unquote, problem cards? Like MMM is probably the most main one that we can know about now, but Risky Encounter could be another example that I kind of thought of in the question originally. But there's been other cards in the past. We used to have some busted uncommons from like MHA1. But how do we feel about like low rarity cards being whenever they start seeing like pretty high amounts of play, especially now that we're getting more and more like more infinity symbol cards that can kind of just go everywhere?
What are we counting as low rarity here? Are we talking about rare down or like
Rare down,
Uncommon
really.
down.
Rare. I say
Yeah.
it's here lately. It's probably been more locked in around the rare area, where I've seen a lot of complaints, like with the Filled with Doubt, Mega Mutant, whatever MMM is actually called.
Massive
Things
mutant
like that.
machine.
That have massive. I'm not. Yeah, that's not the name I've been calling.
Yeah,
but
probably
yeah,
not here.
no, I've been very careful not to call it that here.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay, so I guess I also need some clarification. When we say problem cards, do we mean just like cards that are like hard to get a hold of? Are we talking about like cards that go up in price because of how popular they are and that people need them? Or are you saying like it's a bigger deal when cards like Massive Mutant Machine and Risky Encounter are competitive staples at low rarity?
it's probably more on that last one. It's like, how do we feel? Because
Sure.
it's kind of crazy when you start to actually think about it with how rare you would think rarities work. How we see these rares that see infinite more play, just seem to be better on face value than like even URs and even sometimes secret rares.
Okay, I think that's fair. I think we can talk about VME here a lot then too.
Yeah.
We could bring up
vertic-
VME. That's a great
vertical
one to bring up.
maneuvering equipment. For everybody not caught up, but it was not just a common or whatever, common or uncommon, but it was also infinity. So you could literally have infinite accessibility to this card, and everybody could play it. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about being the word problem. Like I know problem has some like negative connotations like associated with it, but like I don't know. I feel like
What word would you like to use?
I don't know. It doesn't really matter. I'm saying if we use the word problem, to me, the lower rarity cards are probably the better places to put those because if a card like that gets banned or whatever, you didn't spend any money on it.
There it is.
Fair.
I think that's the big
You didn't spend
that's the
any
big thing.
money on it.
When we think
Because,
back
like,
to
yeah.
the last Soul Calibur set where like 6 ultra rares got banned out of that, you like that box is dead, dude.
Yeah.
You just can't buy I could buy a box and all 6 of my ultra rares are unplayable. You're like,
Yeah.
How did I waste this money on a bunch of things? When you've got powerful commons, uncommons, rares, and they're potent and they're playable, like it feels really good, and you get to laugh when Risky Encounter gets banned, and be like, look, I pulled this one, rather than people have called for Unyielding Destruction 9 Titans. When I rip that out of my pack, I go, well, shit, I missed my 1 in 6 of my box is dead. That sucks.
And I think we can also note too that like especially when we talk about rares from AOT 1, I think this is a very different conversation than rares from other sets because obviously that set was different.
Yeah.
And so when we talk about rares that some people would use the word problem for, Risky Encounter, I would put Feral Shriek on that conversation, right?
Yeah.
I think it's up to like $40 or something.
Is it really?
Because of a supply problem, not because people are actually spending $40 on them, but like that's what I'm saying, right? Is like there's just so many of them. Whereas like I think it's a different conversation when we talk about like when a Mortal Shapeshifter got hit.
Yeah.
Like it, and that set is also unavailable, right? But like when that one got hit, the person that was playing 4 copies of it in their deck just felt like they, lost an investment of $20.
I
But
was
like what
very
Tam's saying,
sad.
if something like a Sweeping Daggers that I know people are mixed emotions on got hit, you lose like $240. And like one of those reactions is going to be way visceral than the other.
100%.
If you are a player that just picked up some Sweeping Daggers. But the reality is like when VME got hit, everyone was like, "Oh, sweet, like it is what it is." I can't play my promo ones. Oh, like, but it was a, what, 10 cent, 50 cent common, uncommon, right? And I think when you have that kind of conversation, like, it's just really hard to have like the discussion because I think when it comes to problem cards and like the rarity discussion, rarity is just a determination on how many are easily accessible. And accessibility only becomes a discussion when you talk about, your price point of entry. I think it's very hard to not have these same conversations at the same time. Because I think it goes the other way too. Like what happens, what's a good example? I'm going to use Pale Rider because I have those on my desk. Okay, so Pale Rider, which is from a deck. Let's say that Pale Rider became the best card in the game, right? And the decks sold out, and you couldn't get a hold of them. But because it was also printed as a promo, there's a little bit more accessibility.
Yeah.
Is that a low rarity problem? Because it was a starter deck card, and it also is a promo.
I think Pale Rider is a very strong card, though. I think it is a UR.
It is, but regardless of being a UR, let's.
I don't think. Yeah, I think
zoom
I'm
out
more
of the
talking about
forest
face.
for a moment.
Yeah, I'm talking more face value on the actual printing, like the rarity. I don't mean as much like, hey, this
Oh.
card's easy to get.
Oh, okay.
Rare
Different
UR
conversation.
should be better than rares, right?
I understand. You're talking about a power level disparity.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'm sorry.
All right. Okay. Let's go back then.
Rewind.
Okay, you can still have this conversation. I think there are still adjacent. But you're saying, like, if Botan's coaching is the best zero diff in the game, it should be because it's a rare and all the rest of them are commons, uncommon starter deck cards.
Yes.
Right? Because that's that's how you would feel it should be, correct? Higher rarity means higher impact.
Yeah, exactly. I would think that a higher rarity card should have a higher power level almost.
Whereas you're saying things like Twisty Surroundings versus VME is a reversal of this problem.
Exactly. It's weird because we're going from a UR that was ban worthy, but now we have a common that also is just as powerful enough to get banned. Or uncommon, I believe it was.
Well, I don't think anybody would ever say Twisty Surroundings needed to be banned.
I'm sorry, I'm thinking about twisting, and I'm thinking about the Dobby attack.
Yes,
Twisting,
Twisty Surroundings.
Yeah.
The 3 symbol asset,
UR asset
that has sideways text of VME,
Yeah.
but VME is the common infinity or uncommon infinity version.
Exactly.
So
I
think that is a different question, right? I think that then just stems to the other side of, like, you're going to open a set and you're going to open some high rarity cards and they're not going to feel good. And yeah, I think that's probably a miss.
Yeah.
Your high rarity cards should feel good to open.
Do you think so I'm gonna twist your logic. I'm gonna challenge your statement. The high rarity cards have to be better than the rare cards. What about your high rarity cards that are just more deck archetypal rather than not, right?
I feel like you would have to look at something like that in like a respective power level almost.
Sure.
Like you'd have to think of you'd have to I would compare the cards in their peak, like, not to say peak UniVersus or anything, but in their peak spot, you know? Like their best case scenario, that's where we play. Obviously you'd play a card that has mushroom counters and the mushroom girl, because otherwise it's kind of, why are we doing this? It's not going to be as good as it would be in other characters.
So
you can still play it in other characters.
Because we can just talk about secret rares from other sets.
When I look at Timely Counterattack, or I look at the Ackerman's team up, I look at Devour Your Power support from the Female Titan. They are not necessarily, especially like support from the Female Titan, is not necessarily a better card than any other thing on the Chaos symbol. But it just, in a Momentum Matters deck, that one's pretty good. But I'm not going to slam it in every Chaos symboled deck. It's more of a build around card. Same thing with the Ackerman's team up. That is a 4 difficulty, 4 mid for 3, 2 high block in 99% of characters. 99% of decks, it's a 4 mid for 3.
But in the ones that it's good in,
it's so good. Right?
That's exactly I think what we're saying, right? Is like, when I look at an ultra rare, when I look at a secret rare that is generic, like, I don't think anyone's going to tell you that on a bad day, Violent Animus' Shot's floor looks bad.
Exactly.
But somebody would say on the other conversation of Spellstorm's floor is way lower.
Yeah.
Exactly. I can agree with that.
But that doesn't mean Spellstorm can't be good in the decks that really want to do the Spellstorm thing.
Yeah.
I think a better example is actually probably even Mighty Blitz. Mighty Blitz is
that's
not
good
a
one.
card for every deck.
But you put that in Porco.
You put it in any character that cares about stuff in their card pool.
Yeah.
You put it in any
Like,
character that
you know,
wants momentum. You put any character. You put it in any deck at a 2 of that. If you don't have a momentum out, your rival has to spend momentum. Right? Ripping 2 momentum off of Godzilla could be the difference between life and death.
I'm with it. I think
Frog's Rage is the same conversation, you know? Like,
Yeah.
the same deck, the same Earth Death deck that could play Earthbreaker, generic attack that does good thing, versus, no, I'm playing Grog, and Grog's Rage is really good in me. Because I do the thing, right? So, like, but when you have the conversation that, like, I think it is okay. I think this is what Tam, and I agree with what Tam is saying. You can have these higher rarity chase cards that are only going to be meant for specific people that want to play specific things. That like shift the scale and the balance on the other end of that, which is here is generically good thing at high rarity that everybody wants, aka the chase cards, right? I mean, that's the word that we use. And I think the same thing can exist at every rarity and lower.
I can agree with that.
I think your big issue here, especially whenever you use things like Mutant Machine, is like Mutant Machine is the bullet that you feel bad when you get slammed by Mutant Machine. But my question for you is, how did the Mutant Machine get in the stage?
Because Equipment Heist is the gun.
That's probably the gun.
Yeah, that's probably the gun.
Well,
And
there's
that
Equipment
one
Heist, and
is
there's
an
all the
ultra
people that
rare,
abuse
right? Like-
unflipping and stuff.
Sure. So
There's
so
other
they-
ways there's other people cheating it in right now besides that. But yes, that is the prime. That is your main weapon
Ready?
when it comes to getting it out cheated.
In Jake's overhaul deck, Maximum Overhaul is the gun.
That's the gun.
Yeah.
And guess what? Only one dude gets to use that gun. There
It's
are other
overhaul.
tools that do the thing. I get it. But that's what I'm saying is
Yeah.
like, yeah, I agree with you. But like, I don't think that like Massive Mutant Machine as this, whatever, Massive Mutant Machine could have been any rarity.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think, I mean, and this is me as a game designer as well. I think rarity is a lot more important when it comes to things not talking about constructed.
Well, that's the point.
You think
right?
it's
like the point of rarity
That's
is
the
to
main
help
point.
with sealed.
It's
you
yeah, it's a
shouldn't
conversation
have,
about like character rarity.
You shouldn't have setting the standard in every single deck. Right? Like it should be very specific for like, here's the build around. Here's the cool thing
If
you want
your
to do.
entire sealed pool was filled with Massive Mutant Machines, like sure, because it has deflect or whatever, but like you know, it at the common level, you know, it's like, okay, well hold on, you know, like but yeah, I get it.
I hear you. Yeah. I think I think it really just, it's a very big perspective thing. It depends on the angle you kind of want to go at it from.
Yeah,
We've already like changed. We've already reframed the question like 5 times in this in the entire thing to get more of a clear idea of what we're trying to talk about.
It's very vague. It's very
Does it-
open-ended. But
Yeah,
you're right.
it's a
'cause,
bit-
like,
and I get that.
started talking about like value, and I go, well, rarity determining value makes sense. That's the whole point, right? That's
Yeah.
you know, market secondary market values and stuff like that. But then when we shifted it to like
Power level.
rarity versus power level, I think it can go both ways in the same idea of like what Tam is talking about. I think when it like doesn't exist at all, you have a problem where your game becomes like quote unquote too expensive to play. And I think there are some people out there right now that would make that distinction. Like I think I was literally talking to Andrew Holder, known foe of the show. I like that one. I'm going to use it.
Thanks.
He had a brain worm where he wanted to build a cool deck for UniVersus, the game that he doesn't really play anymore. And then he looked at it and he goes, "Oh, if I wanted to physically own this deck, it cost me $400 right now."
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, "No, I'm good. I'm good, man."
I get that. Yeah, no. Because that was definitely like I remember there was another point that I can think about that being was whenever like Ochako 4 and Toga 3 had come out, and the water symbol was like $500 if you wanted to play the water symbol. But like if you got that, you could play Osui 3, you could play Ochako 4, you could play like it was just opened so many doors for you. But it's like who wants the death
very expensive for a very long time.
Yeah. File season used to be like a like $30 card.
Yeah, like you said, the Toga thing. I mean, if you wanted to play Chaos Weapons, good luck, dude.
Needed Walk the Dogs. That's why I played Life Toga.
I have
Deception Dagger, Walk the Dog. Like,
I have a question for you. Do you get more upset when you lose to an unblockable Besiege, or when you lose to an unblockable 100% Unleashed?
Well, you see, Tam, I don't get mad in this game. I would never get mad. But if I was to get mad in one of those two scenarios, I don't know. I think Besiege would definitely tilt me more
because it's a common rather than a secret rare.
How did the repeated came on? What was making the repeated?
It's not repeated. I'm sorry. It's true.
100% true Unleashed.
Yeah.
Gotcha. The other one that just makes it unblockable.
Yeah.
I would definitely feel worse about I would definitely feel worse about the Besiege because hey, at least the secret rare was like the one that kind of hit me over the head. I get it. And then
Interesting.
Would you be the other way? Would you be more upset by the secret rare?
Nah, I just think I died both times. So
I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters.
I don't care that the 10-cent card killed me versus the $10 card.
Sounds like I put myself in a position to lose here regardless.
Yeah.
So I think it is important. Again, I think rarity is a
construct.
I don't want to like super go into like I've been reading a lot about game theory. I don't want to go into that. But as somebody who plays gotcha games, rarity to me has a very different connotation associated with it than when I'm playing card games.
You have to give your TO $1 every time that you want to use the blitz on Besiege. That's the there you go.
Pay your taxes, that thing was so cheap. You have to pay taxes on it.
Yeah. Versus every time you want to resolve the blitz on a sweeping daggers, you pay $5.
Yeah.
That one's the higher rarity. Like, I mean, if you want.
Then copy the blitz on Besiege and then you owe another $1. It's I don't make the rules, man. I don't make the rules.
If you want to play the blitz, you got to pay for the blitz.
I think all of this goes back again. I want to go even further. Card gamers just care about the value that they have.
Sure.
People who invest into a hobby want to feel like I've said this before. Want to feel like that if something happened and the world went to shit and you needed to, I don't know, move your whole life in a day, that if you sold your investment into this thing that you have, this thing you do for fun, when there's no longer time for fun, can I survive? Can I do the things can I make a meaningful decision in my life to get a return on this investment that I did? And card gamers really value this because card games and formats come and go. They come and go. And if you don't get a perceived value, it means that not just the secondary market has failed you, but I think like the game and the designers have failed you, because I believe it is their job to also create valuable pieces so that when you as the consumer, the purchaser, feel like you got a return on what you purchased. If you spent $100 on a booster box and you opened up your cards and you went, I think I can only sell everything in this box for $10. You would never buy that again. Ever.
Yeah.
And so rarity has a factor into that because there has to be chase pieces. There has to be, and you ready? Depending on the size of the game and how many people choose to open a product, those chase pieces could even be, I'm gonna do a quick TCG player Google search.
We love when a man
Des-
wants to fact check himself.
Desperate Plea.
Love that card.
Sometimes when they make uncommons that are very powerful and you open up a booster box that has more than one of these in it, you feel really good that you opened a $3 uncommon.
Desperate Please $3?
It's $191 plus $131 shipping.
Yo, I picked up like 20 of those
Or-
at Nats just walking around. People were leaving on tables from boxes.
If you wanted to buy 2 copies at $1.91, you could. And then after that, you're spending $2.25 plus $131 in shipping. So you tell me what you value that card at.
Give me a couple days,
Regardless,
I'll crash the market.
if you're somebody that bought the product because you wanted to own Attack Titan Haymakers and you opened Attack Titan Haymakers and you made good money because you opened Attack Titan Haymakers, but you opened 5, 6 Desperate Pleas along the way, that feels really good.
Yeah.
Soups, I think soups are over $1. Like these uncommons or whatever, like they're allowed, if they're meaningful game pieces and the people in the game give perceived value to them and people are willing to pay that much money for that value for the people that missed out on those pieces, because FOMO is very important in our game or card games in general.
Yep.
If you want a cool piece that can be upgraded as you make the choice to invest more into your hobby, into your game, the people that are willing to get rid of those pieces should feel like they got their return on their investment, and around we go. That's how it works. That's how the whole industry works.
That's fair. I haven't looked at it from that viewpoint.
But anyways, yeah, man, I agree with you. Mega Meat Machine's busted or whatever.
We should just
Without
reset
the
the
point.
game. I think go back to MHA 1. Give me back release.
Yeah, let's play
But
Kirishima 1.
I think there's yeah, and without going all the way back, because I don't know, I hate talking about this, but I remember getting introduced to the game, and people were like, you don't have to spend any money because the bread and butter of your entire deck is always going to be the commons and uncommons. And for the reality, that was true. Give or take all the other asterisks that they told you, you had to get a hold of champ cards. That means you had to talk to somebody, and if they were stingy about it, you did pay an arm and a leg for those. Or you have to own some KOF cards, and those are out of print, so they don't actually exist anymore. So if you actually wanted to own, I wanted to own High School Crushes, and it's not that High School Crush was worth a lot, but it was that they were unobtainium.
Yep, caught red-handed for me.
Caught red-handed, or Team Psycho Soldier. I know
Team
you
Psycho
wanted that
Soldier.
one. And it's not like you couldn't build the deck without it, and that was the whole pitch. Oh, you could build your deck without it, it's fine. But then you sat down at a tournament and you played against the guy that did have it.
And it looked pretty sick.
It's all
or
percentage
Nevos,
points.
It's all percentage points. And I think that is exactly what Tim Keefe was talking about a lot of the times when we have this kind of conversation of how much are you valuing the 2%, 3% increase that the Determined Advance will give you versus the Knockdown Blow? Well, one of those cards is a lot more expensive.
As a new player, I think old MHA is boring compared to newer sets.
Old MHA was crazy.
Wow, who's this Schwa 218 guy? Wow, what a crazy take.
What
No,
a tweet.
But
It's a fair take,
I'm saying,
yeah.
I joined the game on a Street Fighter set where that entire set, if you go look it up, is worth nothing. But the one card that Bear Bryant wanted to own as a full play set was the $60 ultra rare from it that nobody played.
Yep.
This one stuck with him.
Yeah, dude. And then when I owned all 4 of them, then what? I was the guy that owned 4 Prepare to
You got to
Fight
find your next task in life, Doug. Your
For
next
a-
goal.
for a deck that nobody played, for a sideboard piece that nobody cared about. And I played one deck where it looked good, and I never touched them ever again.
Yep. Mega Man 2,
I'm not-
baby.
And they are sitting in a box somewhere over there, and that's where they'll always be.
Yep.
Because I will never get that return on my investment.
Mm-mm.
I will never get my return on that investment, and I know I won't.
Yeah.
The game was. I think it's a lot more straightforward now.
It's definitely
think
a lot more, yeah.
Yeah, I think it has conformed to a lot of other similar things going on in the industry, which I think is positive, without being the anomalies that we have of Magic the Gathering, or even a more recent thing that Tam can talk to, like Flesh and Blood. And I don't know about you, but I see all my friends getting into Flesh and Blood, and I
Yeah.
could make a down payment on my house compared to buying some of these cards for Flesh and Blood, and that just doesn't sound great. To play the game for the percentage points.
Yep.
Cat hat.
Barrett, I'll buy those prepared devices for $8 each. Thoughts?
Deal. No.
Fuck.
I have the promo ones too. Remember, because they
Wait.
reprinted it as a promo.
Yo, those are 15.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's a good point. I do like the topic. I think you ready? Before I worked for UVS, and this isn't a surprise, obviously, but like I worked at a card store for years before, and after even leaving that job, I made a TCG player account, and my side money was just selling cards and moving product. And so like when it comes to like secondary markets, like I know a lot about it. And then also a good friend of mine works for a card store, and it's a prolific card store. So like I get a lot of information, but like tracking the like card game market and trends and how things are successful and what aren't successful, and like how important like investing into card games because of Pokemon and Magic the Gathering, specifically Pokemon, like blowing up the collector's market and the grading market, like there's so many cool intricacies that you can do because someone out there is willing to pay X amount of dollars for an exclusive high rarity thing that you can't get a hold of anymore. Like those are valuable to people and collectors. The problem, I would say, is that a lot of UniVersus, and including the prices of the cards in the market, have almost zero influence from collection. I think our entire game and secondary market is 95% influenced by purely what is being played competitively.
Yep.
And that's it.
Yep.
So if a high rarity card is good versus a low rarity card being good, the market will lose a high amount of the cards that people want to play the game to play at its highest level, and those cards will be the valuable ones. The rarity doesn't really matter.
And that's the answer to the question, everybody.
And that's it. That's the whole show.
All right, man. Final
Good night.
thoughts?
See you next. It was good. No, I like that. I think we covered a lot of different. There was, like we said, a lot. It's a very vague question, so there was a lot of different ways to tackle it, and I feel like we did a good job hitting a good few of them. Last thing I would like to say before I get out of here is, Barrett, I saw UVS post about solo leveling again. Please don't let me down.
What do you mean?
They posted something about solo leveling, that they've been working on something.
What did they post?
It was
posted
literally
Bright-ass
just
photo I can't read.
Yeah, it's like a bright ass image with like 4 of the characters in the background. That's all they posted and said they've been working on something. And I'm not happy with that.
Every character and ability. Would you remind us what
They
those
actually
were?
did.
Yeah. Barrett, thoughts on
Oh,
every
these are like
character and
season
ability?
2 characters. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, what's the their
Surprise.
effects?
We've been cooking up something special coming soon. Eyes emoji.
Don't repeat the Sung Jinwoo Challenger deck. Were you involved on it? Can you at least tell me that?
On what?
On whatever solo leveling thing they're talking about.
The thing they're cooking up?
Yeah. Were you involved in that?
What if they're in the kitchen right now, Misplay? How would I know what they're cooking?
Well, I don't know.
Misplay, it's
You
just
live with
mats.
them.
Misplay, it's just
I
mats. You
swear
see
to
how
God,
wide the
if it's
picture
just
is?
mats, I
It's
swear
just-
to God,
it's just play mats.
mats.
Misplay, I don't know what it is.
Y'all aren't gonna
You
gas.
should- You should tune into it.
Y'all aren't gonna gaslight me. It's okay.
Eyes emoji.
Y'all aren't gonna get me. I know what you're trying to do. Good night. I'm gonna leave on my own.
I know he's still listening.
If
so,
you
yeah, I think the
guys-
idea, if there's more solo leveling stuff, that sounds really cool.
Yeah, it does sound pretty cool. Even if it is just playmats. Or actually what it is they're going to be retro only cards. But you got to buy a t-shirt. You got to buy a t-shirt to get these retro only solo leveling cards. Sorry. With that, thank you all for hanging out. Thank you all for watching the show. Greatly appreciate it. I'm going to end stream. and I'm going to raid over to the Four Chicks cast. A couple good buddies over there. But this one was fun. If you guys want to be a part of the Barrett UniVersus Super Show, make sure you come and you check out the Discord, so you may drop your questions by submitting a ticket, asking a question, and come and be on the show like all of these wonderful people here tonight. But with that said, thank you for watching. As always, I wish you well. Goodbye, everybody.